What's up, everyone? Alright, so I've been receiving some messages about trying to get Xlink Kai set up on your Macintosh operating system. So this video today will show you how to get that up and running. Alright, so just to let you guys know, I am running on Mac OS X version 10.7.5. Alright, so probably be around this version. I'm thinking that any earlier versions is probably not going to be too different, but I'll try to hang around this version. I think this is one of the last ones before the newest update to OS X Mountain Lion. Alright, anyways, so assuming that you had Xlink at least installed onto your Mac OS before, we're going to go through an uninstallation guide to where we're going to remove it from your computer. And then after that, we're going to go and reinstall it and follow through the steps I'm going to provide. Alright, so first things first is we're going to go over to the Spotlight and we're going to type in Applications. Okay. Alright, you should be presented with a folder like so. If not, there is an Applications tab right here that'll bring up a list of apps that's installed on your computer. Alright, so you're going to scroll down towards the bottom, and lo and behold, there's xlinkkai.app. All you have to do is right click on it and hit move to trash, and that's it. So now that's been removed from the computer, and now we can do a fresh installation. Okay, so I'm going to close that window out. Open up your favorite web browser. I'm going to be working with Chrome, and go to teamxlink.co.uk. Okay. Once you've arrived there, click on Downloads at the top. The website usually auto-detects the operating system. Make sure that this is correct. If you're not too sure, you can always click on the drop box and click Mac OS X. Now, to note, this part where it says Intel, they only made Xlink Kai available for Mac operating systems that have an Intel CPU. Most cases, it should determine right when you go to the downloads page if you have an Intel CPU or not. If you are not too sure, you can look that up elsewhere in computer to determine if you're running an Intel machine. I'm using a MacBook Pro early 2011 edition, and this one's Intel based. I believe most newer MacBooks are Intel based, so that you can install Boot Camp for Windows on there. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and click download, and it's going to ask you to save a package file, which is going to end up being a .zip. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. And once that installation is completed, you can now click on this little button right here, this little drop down arrow, and hit Show in Finder, which will then take you to exactly where the file was downloaded to. And once you get to the file, make sure it's the correct file. Right click on it and go to Open With, hit archiveutility.app, which should be the default app for most users. You may have other apps on your computer that will uncompress the file, and that's fine if you're familiar with those apps. Okay? Once that is finished, you will see a Xlink Kai .7.4.28.universal.pkg. Okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to double click on that, and this is an installer package. Alright, so this installer window will show up, and at this point, let me close this down. At this point, you're just going to go through steps. So continue, accept their terms of service, continue. Alright, agree to the terms of service. I'm going to do a standard installation to my hard drive. If you have any locations like external hard drives that you want to install into, install those to those now by hitting change install location. Otherwise, hit install. Alright, it's gonna. If you have a user account with a password linked to it, which most Mac OSs require, you'll need to type in the password now to your account that you're already logged into. and let the installation complete. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to close this out now. Okay, alright, now at this point you can do one of two things. You can either use the spotlight, the little magnifier glass at the upper right corner of the screen, to search for Xlink Kai .app. Let's see. It seems to not pulled it up right off the bat. Okay, that's cool. Alright, so we can go back into the Finder window that I had went to previously to uninstall and go to Applications and scroll down, and it's right there. Okay, so to make life simple on yourself, go ahead and left click and hold down and drag it to your bottom of your screen where you list all your icons at, to make it easier to access it later. Once it is there, click on it. It's going to ask you if you want to make changes. I'm not too sure why it asks this, but it asks every time you start it. So you're going to have to re-enter your login password every time you relaunch the engine. Okay, once the engine is up, I'm going to skip the username and password step because I'm going to go straight to configure. Okay, this is a really important part to this. With Kai for Mac, you don't actually have a user interface programs all done over your web browser. The network adapter is by default set to auto detect. Now, I've noticed for better performance usage, it is a good idea to switch the network adapter to EN0, which is shorthand for Ethernet port 0, which most cases, most Mac devices only have one Ethernet port, and those ports would be considered EN0. Alright, if you have more than one Ethernet port, it may, and you plug it into like the second port, it might be considered Ethernet 1. You may have to toy around with this part. If you have one Ethernet port on your Mac computer, it is more than likely going to be Ethernet 0. This is under the assumption that your Xbox is being hardwired over Ethernet directly into your Mac computer. And your computer at that point would be connected to the internet wirelessly. Alright, so port will be remaining at 0, deep port will be set to undefined, web UI port 34522. Leave the proxy server blank. Check enable PAT. This is called packet address translation. It's used to better NAT connectivity with other players. If you've used Xbox Live, you would know exactly what I'm referring to there. Default profiles, you can leave this blank. Character set, Western, language, English. This is pretty much, you really don't have to mess with that. The default X tag and password, if once you create an account, if you've already created an account with Xlink, you can input that here, and then by checking the auto login field, you can go ahead and not worry about typing your password every time you get back or want to start up Xlink. If you have not created an account yet, I will show you how to do that. Create a new tab or window, go to teamxlink.co.uk, and once the page loads up, click on Sign Up. At this point, you'll be presented to put in your X tag, which is your username, your password, confirm password, your email address, location, age, and upload bandwidth. And more than likely, just go ahead and just check your Microsoft Xbox and other consoles you own. This isn't really necessary, but the parts with the asterisks are. Now, for a keynote with the email, any Outlook, Hotmail, MSN, or live email account, basically any Microsoft-based email account, or any Yahoo accounts, are currently not accepting Xlink registration emails. So you'll need to, just for the sake of simplicity, use a Gmail account or something that, or another account that is not one of those mentioned. I'm not too sure why those email accounts aren't working or not accepting. I'm assuming they're probably being picked up as spam, but they aren't spam. You need the registration links that are provided within the registration emails in order to confirm your account and be able to log into their system. Alright, so once you fill all this information and provide an email address that is not one of these above, right here, then you're just going to go ahead, scroll all the way to the bottom, and then click Submit. And at that point, the email will be sent to you. If you don't see it in your primary inbox, check your spam folder. The link is probably going to be in that location. Alright? Okay, so we're going to hop back over to the Kai configuration tool. Now, assuming that you have your account credentials, you're going to put this all back into the default X tag and the default password. Alright? Now, for the auto login, this part isn't entirely necessary. It's only if you're using this computer by yourself, it's a private computer, and you don't mind other users potentially using your account at home. If you have like siblings or other family members that you don't want using your Xlink account, leave this field blank. Leave both fields blank and leave the auto login box unchecked. Make sure that close engine when UI closes is checked, which it will be by default. And leave allow remote UI connections and auto open chat unchecked. Alright, so once you're done with that, click save. And you're going to wait for the Kai engine to restart. And you're going to most likely present it with, in my case, Google Chrome cannot connect back to Kai's local address. Now, this isn't a problem. I think people are having issues with this part, thinking something didn't work. What you're going to have to do at this point is you're going to have to go back and click on Xlink Kai that we put down in your icon tray. I can't remember the exact name of this, but where your favorite apps are located, and open it up again. It's going to ask you to re-enter your login password, like so. And now it's going to ask for your Xlink Kai information. Okay, so I'm going to log into that. This way, my computer seems to be bogging down a little bit. Okay, you may have to do that again. Seems like my computer kind of just slowed down. Okay, so I'm going to close out Chrome here. Sorry about that, guys. I want to go back to Xlink Kai and launch it directly so that it launches the engine into Chrome. If the Kai engine seems to be having this problem, go up to the top and do what I just did and click on the Kai engine icon and hit quit. If you can't bring that up, click on the logo that's presented in front of you and then click quit. I actually had that problem occur before. Excuse me. Alright, so I'm going to put back in the password of my account, my computer account, and now it seems to be working better. Alright, there you go. Alright, so once it's attached to Orbital, and you actually present with a general chat, everything should be pretty much good to go. Alright, so at this point, now you're going to go to the game arena of the game that you want to play. So you're going to click Game Arenas at the top, select the console, which in this case we're going to be doing Halo 2, so we'll select the Xbox, the genre, which is first-person shooter, and then scroll down to find the game itself. We're going too far down. Okay, Halo 2, and then select the region that you want to play that most players will be located in. So I want to pick North America, and I'm going to go into LG since there's actually people in there. Okay, so at this point, you don't have to do really anything else but hop onto your Xbox and go into the System Link tab and attempt to search for games. Now, the searching of games is done automatically on the console. If you don't see any games, the other thing I can tell you to do, which in this case I'm not actually seeing any games because I don't think anyone's hosting in this particular spot, is to go to the Latin America server because there's a lot of games being hosted there all the time. Then go to Solo Redos. And you will usually see an abundance of players on there. and you should start seeing games pop up shortly, which in my case they are. Okay, and at this point, you would just pick what game you're trying to find and join it. All right, so you may notice some game arenas on the left, most of the screen. That is private arenas. The main difference between Xlink and XBC is that XBC always have to host a private game. In Xlink, it is not entirely necessary to do, though they frown upon you doing it, mainly because you don't have control over the room if you don't create a private room. So in order to create a private room, you would click on this little pencil button, and you would set a password. If you're playing a game where you want only certain people to come, you would set the max number of players, so that actually does affect how many people can join your room. And then you would set a description if you want to set a description, and then you would create the room. And at this point, I have now created a private arena, and anyone who wants to play in my game particularly, while I'm having moderator rights, can join my room just by going to Latin America, Solo Redos, and Yoshinja. Alright, so that's pretty much all to do, and at this point I would just hit create new game on Halo 2, and people should be able to join my game from that point forward. Alright, so this was a tutorial guide for getting Xlink up on Macintosh operating systems. If you have any questions, please feel free to add any comments below, and you can also contact me on my Twitter handle, which will be in the description. Alright, thanks guys for tuning in, and please let me know if you need any questions or have any problems with the process of this guide. Alright, thank you.